Okay, hi you guys. This is Stacy with R&R Ranch, and today
my God,
not about Handsome, but about Nanny. Nanny is our cat. She gets very little. She gets very little time on my stories or anything else. She is hanging out in my lap only because it's raining and thundering every now and then outside. Otherwise, Nanny does not like to really be held. And in fact, if Nanny did like to be held, little Franklin would not be in that room down the aisle because if Nanny had been a lap cat, we never would have gotten into bunnies. But
here we are.
Something to hold. So she's only with me because she's a little scared right now. Nanny's 10 years old. She came from another barn. She's absolutely beautiful. She's got this beautiful coloring on her, a lot of shades, and I like longer hair, and she's got it. When we brought her home, I did not bring her home for us. I brought her home for my next door neighbor who had just lost her cat, and I thought Nanny as a kitten was adorable, and it would make a perfect little cat for her. She wasn't interested in her, and we had birds, and I did not think that birds and a cat could coexist together in the same house, but I let her spend the night at our house. My husband promptly broke her foot by stepping on her. We're assuming it was him because it's always him when anything happens. So she had to wear a little cast. I called the store where I get all my bird supplies from, and they reassured me that a cat and birds can peacefully coexist together. And so I thought, okay, we'll try it. And lo and behold, Nanny can be nose to nose with our birds, and I do not hesitate in thinking that she is going to hurt them. Not that I would leave her unattended around them, but she is excellent with them.
She also wouldn't kill a mouse.
No, she wouldn't kill a mouse. She alerted us to the mouse only because we saw her.
She might play with the mouse,
staring underneath our stove, but she had no interest in it. Anyway, so Nan is a free spirit. She does well with all of the dogs. She's done amazingly well with the puppies.
Oh, show her classic if you want to pick her up. And well, she's gone, so
yeah,
that's
so if
done.
I pick her up, her classic thing is she braces against you.
Yeah,
and she's like, "Don't touch me," and and she's the most beautiful cat that you would want to snuggle up to. But that's Nanny, and
there she is.
That's it. There she is. So let me just do a quick introduction to our birds. These are two of our cockatiels. This is Baxter. She is a female. Okay. This is Sebastian. They're both about the same age. They're both 10, maybe 11 years old now. I'd have to look at their records. But I've had them since they were babies. Baxter is a funny story. I wanted her as a baby. There's a local bird store here, and I really wanted her. She would have been my first cockatiel. And, no, she wouldn't have been my first. She was my third.
Yeah.
And the store owner that knew me pretty well knew that I wanted her, but I hadn't paid for her. I hadn't even reserved her. I hadn't said anything to my husband. Like normal, he didn't mind if I got her. And so when I drove to the bird store to get her, she was sold. And I was so disappointed. I was literally crushed. So the lady that owned the store said the people that bought her, it was their first time bird owning, and she said she knew I would give her a better home. She said, if you want to call them and see if they will make a trade with a different bird, you can do that. That's exactly what I did. So I called them and I asked them if I could pay for them to get a different bird and I could have this one. And they were like, sure. It didn't even matter to them. Despite my hard efforts in getting Baxter, She then, one year, like when she was maybe 2 or 3, she had an egg bind, which means she started to produce an egg and it got stuck in her coming out. And I had to rush her over to Illinois. It was like 9 o'clock at night and they had to do actually a hysterectomy on her. So despite how much I have done for this bird, she is the only one that hisses at me. So when I take her out of the cage, she goes, and she's the only one that does that to me, everybody else. But she is also the only one that kisses me. So that's those two. Over here, I have Happy and Bosco. These are the parakeets. I'm not going to take them out because Bosco may fly. Their wings are pretty long right now. Happy is our yellow one. She is completely blind. She has been blind for about 7 years. She is 12 years old, and that's a really long life for a parakeet. But she is as good as gold. And then there's Birdie is over here, and Birdie is quiet of a bird as you see her there. I did not name her that. I got Birdie from a local rescue that at the time I had 2 cockatiels. My first 2 were Coco and Cuppy. And Coco got sick when she was about 10 years old with cancer. She had a tumor. And I lost her. And Cuppy, who was her lifelong mate, was literally devastated. I mean, just grief-stricken, would not stop crying and looking for her. So I contacted the local rescue and I told them I was looking for a senior to help him as being a mate. And that was Birdie. She was 15 years old when I got her. She's 19 years old now. And Birdie became Cuppy's mate. They bonded relatively easily. And then unfortunately, I lost Cuppy probably a year after I got Birdie. But she's a very mild-mannered bird. The reason she's not in with these cockatiels is that they can both be very bossy. And all my birds used to live together in one big cage until these 2 cockatiels got pretty bossy. And I didn't want anyone getting hurt, so now I have 2 cages in my kitchen, and I also have a cage out here. You can see on the porch where they come outside when it's warm enough, and they stay outside during the day. I'll bring them in at night, but they love being outside. So there you have it. That's the birds.